This is Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, a podcast and radio program presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan.
Driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
And now, here he is, your host, Jim Ervin.
Well, thank you so much, Parker, and welcome to Time Signatures. I'm your host, Jim Ervin, and today's guest has been on the blues scene for about 10 years now, unabashedly bringing her own brand of blues rock to the stage and airwaves. This Detroit native has won numerous Detroit Music Awards. She's garnered 17 Independent Blues Award nominations, and if you listen to Sirius XM's Bluesville, you're likely to hear her tunes there as well. Now, she's got 10 albums to her credit, but her new album, Colorcrimes, is the latest in a series of powerful releases that have earned her critical acclaim throughout her storied career. We've got lots to talk about with our guest, Eliza Neals, so let's dive right in, shall we? Eliza, welcome to Time Signatures. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Irv?
I'm wonderful, man. It is so good to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here. It's been, we're trying to coordinate our schedules, but here I am. And I just wanted to update you. I did win 2 of those Independent Blues Awards, 2024. I don't know if you said that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So 22
awesome.
Nominations and 2 finally we won last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, listen, I'd like to start this conversation by learning more about your earliest memories of music. Where did that start for you?
Well, I grew up in a family where my older sister started playing the piano and we all followed her. But before that, my dad was in the Navy, and when we were growing up as little kids, 3, 4, 5 years old, we would sit on the bed and he'd play the guitar and the harmonica and he'd play a lot of folk tunes that he learned in the Navy. And so we had 3 sisters. I had 2 sisters, so 3 girls all singing, and then I had a little brother. So we loved music. I'm Armenian. I'm from an Armenian American household. And so we also went to Armenian school, learned all Middle Eastern Armenian songs. And so the house was full of music. My dad listened to Chet Atkins, guitar picking, Nashville, country guitar. He was a big fan of that. Also Spanish guitar, my dad played.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a big conglomerate. And then we'd hear blues also, and Etta James, B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf. So it's a big, and then Motown is in Detroit, so I heard that.
Sure.
So it was ahead of my time. So the remnants of Motown leaving in the 70s, we all heard that. So here I am. That's my backstory on, we just sang as little kids, and then I turned it into a thing.
Nice.
Basically.
Well, you mentioned the blues briefly. Now, you had some early exposure, but did you have any favorite songs that just got stuck in your head? You had to hear them over and over again, or any favorite bands?
Well, yeah. I mean, my older sister Val would, bring home all the new vinyl, in the late 70s, and she'd play Doobie Brothers, Edgar Winter, Johnny Winter, Jackson Browne, and all the Southern rock, all the classic rock. So, I was a big fan of all those bands. And of course, Etta James, Rather Go Blind, At Last. I mean, there's so many different things. So I guess a song gets stuck in my head. I don't know. I was a big Fleetwood Mac fan. I mean, I couldn't get Rumors out of my head at all. I mean, that would stay in my head forever, Dreams and all those songs were huge hits for me. But I can't really say. I mean, I loved Heard It Through the Grapevine. That would never leave my head, from Motown. And I worked with Barrett Strong. So knowing him has really opened my eyes to, how to sing and kind of learn from the best.
Sure.
He was my mentor. So I would say maybe it's Heard It Through the Grapevine. I can never get out of my head.
Okay. Well, Eliza, I've got to hear this story about how you attended college studying, of all things, opera. How does one go from opera to the blues?
Well, what happens is I was singing blues rock all along, ever since we were kids, making blues rock, Southern rock songs, playing them on the piano, turning them into our own arrangement, kind of like Colorcrimes, how you hear that. That's how we'd write.
Yep.
On the piano. And then just sang all kinds of gigs. I would sing in talent shows and, I'd win them. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could keep doing this. So I was a waitress in this restaurant, and the band would come in, and I'd sit in with that band. Finally, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to get my own band and do what they're doing. And I did that because I was a terrible waitress. It was a difficult job for me. So I started doing that, and that was I guess I was in high school. I had a band. We played during lunch period. Everyone would come into the gym. And all the guys were 10 years older than us. Like we were all 16, 17, and the guys in the band were like in their 30s. So like we had this great band.
Sure.
So ever since then, I was doing it, and trying to figure out what kind of degree I wanted, because my dad's like, you have to get a degree to live here. And he was big on that. You have to have your degree. And so I said, well, I followed my sister's footsteps. She went into opera, and she loved it. So I figured, I'll just follow my sister Valerie and do it. And I thought it would be so easy because I know how to sing, right? But it's a totally different kind of singing. It's very difficult, but I'm glad I did it because now I can sing, 6, 7 nights a week. You just breathe correctly, and you can put on the grit, take the grit off. You can be, you can have vibrato. You don't have to have vibrato. You can sing light. You have all these different tricks up your sleeve. So I'm glad I did it. I did graduate, and they told me, give up your blues and do opera in Vienna. I said, no, I love it. I can't do that yet. Maybe someday I'll do that. But I sang all in the clubs in Detroit, from Woodward Avenue down to Detroit, all the way up to the suburbs, 5, 6 nights a week. And it was all blues rock on a rock tinge, but a lot of blues. I'd start singing at this place called Sit-In at Bert's Place, all different places, Rhinoceros, all these places. Let's see, Baker's Keyboard Lounge, I'd go sit in. People are like, you really have a bluesy type voice. If you learn, 20 songs, I could put you on tour. This one agent told me that. And I was like, I'm not ready for that. I'm going to keep doing, my brand, whatever I would write. And then finally, I started touring and going, wow, she was right, I forgot her name, Marla something. And she was absolutely right. She heard me sing. She goes, I can put you on tour if you just learn 20 blues songs. So, Barrett Strong taught me so many things. Motown is blues with a beat. All the Motown guys and gals, most of them were from Mississippi, okay? So Barrett came from Cedar Bluff, Mississippi. That's where, all the greatest blues artists are from. So they just got this big break with Berry Gordy, and voila, they turned that into Motown. It's just blues with a beat. So I was writing blues before I even knew it was actual blues with Barrett Strong. I've written over 60 songs with him. And he walked into this health food store I was working in, and he heard me singing, and he said, do you want to be on my label? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Because everybody tells you there's somebody, and you don't, a lot of times you just get their card and go, yeah, sure. But this was really real. It was really him. So my sister and I went to his house, and he had gold records from one side of the room all the way around to the other, at least something like 60 gold platinum records for Temptations and for Marvin Gaye. And he sang the very first hit song for Motown called Money, That's What I Want. So this is Barrett, if you didn't know. This was his first thing. So I looked him up I think I looked it up on Google or something, and it was him. So we went over there, and that's how he's the first person to sign me to his record label. And I recorded over 60 songs with him. And a lot of those songs, like Something's Better Than Nothing, he co-wrote with me before he passed away.
Wow. What an awesome experience for you.
I just had to get that training, to live. I told my dad I did it, so I did it and got the degree, but I was always like a blues rocker at heart.
Yeah. And that chance meeting with him in the 90s just opened up a whole new world to you, didn't it?
Absolutely. We learned every trick that they did at Motown. There's so many things that he told me. I'm probably going to write a book about it, but so many things. I think
you should.
I will. I'm going to, but just things you can't learn anywhere besides somebody who's written all those hits for the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Gladys Knight, and their tricks, what they did in the studio, how to sing, how to not, worry about this or that. I mean, he says the funniest things to you, but you will sing on pitch at the end of that day. Okay. You
There
won't be
you go.
flat. You won't be sharp. And you
Right.
won't be like, you'll know the right note. I mean, if you have it in you, if you survive the training, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
No.
I want to step back just a minute because you mentioned playing at some of Detroit's most prestigious blues hotspots around the town,
Yeah.
including Flood, Old Detroit, Bert's Warehouse, Baker's
Yes.
Keyboard Lounge, and so many others. That must have really helped prepare you for what you were doing today. Is it correct?
Absolutely. I would sit in with this guy named Larry Barris. He's pretty famous. He's like played with Earl Klugh and um, all kinds of let's see, Earl Klugh, George Benson, and he still plays now. But I would chum around with him and go to these jams. And he's like, if you want to sing, you just go to the side of the stage and let them know you want to sit in. And I was like, I think this was in the early 2000s. Okay.
Okay.
So I graduated around 2006 from college. So I was about 10. No. So no, I was like early, let's see, 20s. And I'd go sit in and I'd just jump on the stage and say, I want to sing. And like I'd sing, Thrill Is Gone, Rather Go Blind, Stormy Monday. I mean, whatever the band could all know. And they were like, wow, you really sound good. They wouldn't throw me out. They'd be like, you got something there. In fact, Alberta Adams told me that. She's like, you got something there. And then someone named Juanita McCrae would say to me, without you, there'd be no me to the audience. And I just learned from Old Detroit. She'd be there all the time. And I'd sit in with her. And she's like, you sound great. And I see how they interacted. These artists would interact with the audience. And they would just, it was a blast. It was just such a blast to see these people do their craft. And like, I would just study everything they did and like try to incorporate it into what I do. And so, yeah, it was like, you can't pay for that kind of training in Detroit.
And I would imagine being in your position, going around to all those hot spots, the exposure was excellent for you. It probably gave you a good building of your chops on stage.
Yeah.
What did you have any favorites of those places that you played?
I love Baker's Keyboard Lounge on Livernois.
Okay.
Like you'd go in there and you'd be so scared, like at first, because basically everyone there is like a jazz great or a blues great.
Wow.
And so to get on that stage and let them actually say you can stay was the hugest thing. So I'm like, you know what? So I just kept doing it and incorporating more and more of the blues, and then rock them out a little bit my way with my band.
Yeah.
And I was booked 6-7 nights a week. In fact, I'd go find a new room that wanted music and I'd start the trend of that place, and like a place called Memphis Smoke used to be a place where they did blues and I played there all the time. More blues rock, of course, not straight. Some bands would do blues, but it didn't seem like, I'm not saying who they were, but some of it wasn't that great. So I was just like, you guys got to come with it, don't just sing it, come with that stuff. So I would just be like, come, you know what I mean? Like they were great though. There's so many great artists in Detroit, to learn from. So, and Barrett Strong loved the blues. He was like, Bobby Blue Bland, check this out, study this. Sam Cooke. He hung out with all those people in the Chitlin circuit. And he taught me all about, when they would tour, how they would do it and how you have to do it. And, Barrett he had his own band at first when he sang the song Money, That's What I Want. And his band, I guess, screwed up a few of the notes, and he got in his car and left and drove home from California to Detroit because they made a couple mistakes. The stories go on and on about all this.
Sure.
But he just said, make sure your band are the best musicians you can find and who follow you. If they follow you, you'll get through it because he believed I knew what I was doing as a songwriter and as a piano player. Since I write the song, I know how it goes. So please follow, And a lot of times, guys don't want to follow a girl, so it's been a tug of war, but I think we're coming out on top because all my music's on Bluesville. The minute mostly when it comes out, it goes right to radio. I have over like 15 songs on there.
Beautiful.
So in the past week, I've already heard 4 or 5 of my tunes in rotation. So I can't be more happy about it.
Yeah, no kidding. Eliza, 4 self-released albums over the course of the first 10 years of your music career. That's no easy task, but your 2015 release, Breaking and Entering, that really helped make your mark in the Detroit music scene, didn't it?
Hmm. That was the first time that they actually looked at me and said, wow. And I won Detroit Music Awards. I think I won 5 of them.
Wow.
I worked with Howard Glazer. He's a great
Okay.
guitar player.
Yeah.
I always was watching him, and we would watch him and say, he's really great. And he wasn't really, I don't know, brought up by the community more. He was on the outskirts more, and he's straight blues rock. He's sort of like a Johnny Winter almost. He loves Johnny Winter. He's very talented, but he's like I said, like an underdog, kind of like me. So I kind of just teamed up with a lot of the underdogs who are super
Sure.
talented, and we came out with this Breaking and Entering album, and it was super hard rock, sort of hard rock blues, and put it out there, and everybody noticed it. And in fact, right away, they put Breaking and Entering on within a week of getting it on Sirius XM
Nice.
radio. So
Nice.
I was like, wow, that was the affirmation we needed, and it was self-produced and on my own label, E-H Records, with my partner, Jay. And we do everything together. It's very hard, but it's a labor of love, and we get to keep the paycheck at the end of the day.
There you
For the
go. Yeah,
master
absolutely.
and a lot of people now are following suit. They're seeing what we're doing and going, wait, it takes a lot of to-doing, because you have to have musicians and different area codes and to make it work. Until I buy the huge, bus where you can go and take everybody, that same people with you. But
Right.
after the pandemic, everything was closed, so we had to like reinvent what we were doing. So it's working out so far, and I just, I sold out Jimmy's. We just did Buddy Guy's. Buddy Guy had me open up for him. He
Yeah. How about
picks.
that?
That was a thrill, because I've played there on my own 5 times, and every time's been standing room only, sold out. So I guess they took notice to that, and then Buddy just asked me to be one of the people opening up, along with Kingstone Kingfish, Chris Stone
Yes.
Kingfish, Ronnie Baker Brooks, like all the
Yeah.
top people in the game, and then he chose me. So that was really big for us. What else? And we played Jimmy's again, second time. We sold it out last time, which was last week, and then we did this. We started off 2025 with a bang. Just let's say that it's been going pretty good
Very
so
cool.
far. So far,
Um,
and I sang backup on Papa Chubby's album. He is all
oh, wow.
Joe Bonamassa. He's got all the top people on his album, and I'm singing all the backups if you get Papa Chubby's new album. And I did
Okay.
something else with the great Joe Louis Walker. I can't say what, but that's coming soon. What
Very
else?
nice.
I mean, a lot of good stuff. And a new single I put out called Soul Free, and another one's coming, and a new album this probably in 2026.
Now, Eliza, you've opened for some of the biggest names in the blues, including Mike Zito, Tommy Castro, Walter Trout, and the Blues Foundation Hall of Fame bluesman Joe Louis Walker.
That's right.
Talk about these opportunities presented to you throughout your career. And as you're standing off stage watching these performers do their work, have you ever caught yourself just having one of them awestruck moments?
Every time I get, I'm watching them do their thing. I'm learning, and just so honored that I could, be part of it. And of course, it's nerve wracking at first. You're like, wait, why am I here? What am I doing? These
Yeah.
people are so, they've been in it so long, and they're, experts at their craft, but they see something in me, which I think was really nice. And I'm so humbled by it. And I go out there, and Joe Louis Walker would always say to me, Eliza, you don't even know who you are yet. Just keep doing what you do. Like, he invited me to Mystique Blues Festival 4 times in the past 5 years, which is amazing. I didn't go this year, but that's where Mick Jagger lives. And I got to hang out with him, and he told me,
Wow.
he really liked it, and he was dancing while I sang. I mean, it's crazy. It's the coolest blues festival in the world. It's called Mystique Island Blues Festival.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't get invited. So that's a huge honor by Mr. Joe Louis Walker. We recorded Black Crow Moan and Devil Don't Love You. He produced that for me. And he's so talented and so he's just the real deal. And like when you get to sing with someone like that, you just your whole thing goes up. You know, you're on the spot. It's like, you know, jump off this cliff, and there's something down there. You better land on your feet, and that's how it is. It's the best way to explain it. And he's helped me grow in many ways from just singing with him.
Yeah. Wow.
The things you learned, you know.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And, you know, it's interesting that you talked about the to-do list and promoting yourself and all of the work that goes into doing what you're doing as an independent musician.
Yeah.
Joe Bonamassa, very much in the same vein. It seems like the trend is leaning towards more musicians doing for themselves and not giving the labels the cut, because like you said, at the end of the day, you're getting the paycheck. I know
Right.
that takes extra work. How
Yes.
does that, when you look back on your career and you see where you've been able to go with doing this independently, how does that make you feel to see the success you've had?
Sometimes I don't even realize how it's really the stamp. It's or the how do you say it? What most people have heard of me like worldwide. So it's like it's mind blowing is what I'm trying to say. It's taken off on worldwide radio more than I can imagine, you know. And I guess when you do what you really love and work really, really hard at getting it out there, you have to figure out ways to do it. My
Sure.
partner, Jay, is a genius. So all the stuff that he does is you can't even pay for it. I mean, you have to have really organized and smart somebody to help you, I think. It's super hard. But if you can do it, it's way worthy because you are not splitting. I mean, I know people who get record deals, right? Oh, I got a record
Sure.
deal. And they're completely broke. They have no money at the end of the day, and they have to go jump in their car and drive from here to California and come back, and which is, God love them for it. But it'd be nice to have a few dollars in their bank account if they had radio play. In fact,
Yeah.
I know someone personally who signed to a very well-known label, and they, you know, 6, 7, 8 months go by, they haven't paid them for their radio play yet.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
You
just
know,
waiting. They're waiting because the record labels can say to you, well, I had to recoup, you know, advertising for you or blah, blah,
right,
blah.
right.
So if you do it yourself, guess what? Well, you have to make sure the song's good enough to be on the radio first. And don't kid yourself, you know, really try to make it the best you can with the best people you can find. And you
Yes.
probably have a good shot. That's my advice. Just keep trying till you get that sound that you hear in your head.
Well, and one of the other things, since you're touching on this, my recurring theme so far this year has been to talk about and to highlight the fact that it takes like 1,500 streams for people
Yeah.
that like to listen on Spotify and the services out there to equal the purchase of one album. One album, just
Oh, it's a
one.
joke. It's a joke.
It's ridiculous. So my goal going forward is going to be to highlight and talk about the importance of buying the CD, buying the
Yes.
vinyl, supporting the musicians. Because if we don't do this, Eliza, we're not going to have you guys out there.
Absolutely.
You know?
If everyone would just download this digital release I just put out, Soul
Yep.
Free, if all 5,000 friends would download 99 cents, that's $5,000
Yeah.
almost. And you can pay yourself back for the record, and then you can, you know, put gas in your van and keep going. You know what I mean? And go to different
Yep.
regions and do it.
Well,
But people don't do that. And it's hard. And so they wait for a festival, which is great because at festivals you sell a lot of stuff.
yeah.
And I'll be at Spring in the Blues in April in Jacksonville. So that's a big festival, up and coming. I just played France, Le Mans,
nice.
France. We sold a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, every festival is really great. You sell out. I sold out of all my Colorcrimes CD. I know, Battered to
Very
the Bone.
cool.
Battered to the Bone sold out. I have to reorder. Which one sold out? There are a lot of them. But, I mean, we're lucky. But I mean, if they would just go to our merch page, like you're saying, Irv, and just buy 2 T-shirts, 2 albums, and some vinyl, musicians could probably like keep going and have the money in their own pocket.
Did you say vinyl?
Yes, I have vinyl. I only have 3
I've got
left.
Vinyl. You see, I've got vinyl sitting here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Guess what I'm going to be doing when we get done with this interview?
What? Ordering vinyl?
You betcha. I'd love, and if
Do
you
we have
sign
any
it, I'd
vinyl
love
left?
that.
Irv wants some. Absolutely. Yeah. Go to my go to my Eliza Neals merch page. We got it all there. I'll send it to you.
Hold on to that thought, because we're going to bring that up in just a minute. But I want to keep moving here because we're having so much fun.
Okay.
It looks like you're having some great shows coming up for this year. Anything that you want to promote or talk about in specific, even locally?
Yeah, well, let's see. I'll be doing, well, some of the festivals haven't been announced yet, so I don't know if I can say it yet.
Okay.
Can I? No. But I know White Mountain Boogie and Blues in New Hampshire has announced it. I'll be there. That's a huge one. That's a great festival. Then, of course, I said Spring in the Blues in Jacksonville. That's next. And we're doing Iridium in New York on March 29th.
Nice.
That's going to be a huge show right in Times Square. And then Town Crier on the 30th, which is in New York, upstate a little bit. And my band's great. I got some amazing musicians with me. I got Frankie Maniero. I got Rick Nosaw. Oh, yeah, and Taoist Blues Festival in Michigan. Where are you at? Where are you at?
I'm in the Lansing area.
Oh, you're Lansing. Okay. So Taoist Blues Festival, that's coming up in August. I think I have 4 or 5 in August around the Mitten. We'll announce it all as it comes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll see you at some. But the next one will be Iridium in New York on March 29th. And I have Peter O'Brien on drums. I have Rick Nosa on guitar, Frankie Boy on guitar, 2 guitars, Tony Nardini on B3, and then Chris Vega on bass, right? Yeah, that's right. And me, I usually play keyboards and then direct and whatever we have to do. But we have a great time. That place is wild. So if you're coming to New York, you got to come. It's like they put like the big, huge, Megatron, and they put Eliza Neals coming. It's like, oh wow, I'm in Times Square. It's crazy. It's so cool. But it's been so much fun to do this, I swear.
Yeah.
It's so hard, but if it's the only thing you know how to do and you can make a living at it, why not do it?
Sure. Eliza, where can people go to get more information on your music, check out your touring schedule, buy some merch and some CDs, and maybe book you for a gig?
Yeah, everybody, if you're listening right now, go to my merch page and pick up a CD, download my new song Soul Free, buy a t-shirt. We got jean jackets with fringe. We got all kinds of cool hippie wear. You can go to elizaneals.com/merch. And everything's on my website. You can book me from there. You can buy stuff from there. You can see all the gigs, all the updates. It's always updated, like probably every 2 weeks. So
very good.
We do it all. Like I said, I'm from Detroit. I learned everything I know in Detroit. And we're not embraced yet by the Blues Foundation. I have not gotten anything from them yet, but that's okay. I love the Blues Foundation, what they're doing. We're taking blues and we're keeping the blues alive. Okay.
Yep.
And one day they're going to see, because I'm not on a label, so it's kind of hard to get recognized if you're not on one of those big labels.
Right.
Because, if you're not paying into something, how are you going to, you know what I mean? It's really hard. It's very political.
Yeah.
So we go on the independent scene, and I have the 2 Independent Blues Awards I've just gotten. Here's what it looks like.
Very nice.
Yeah, for Best Song, for Sugar Daddy, and for Road Warrior. So people are taking notice in high places. It's just when you're independent. Oh, Candy Store, sorry. I have so many songs. I can't. But I understand how it works. I'm not naive. I know the people who are getting nominated year after year are all in the system. They're all paying in through their record labels and their whole conglomerates. So if you're an independent and you haven't seen a nomination, don't worry about it. People still will embrace you and book you. And sometimes people rather see who the people really like, more so than who the powers that be tell you to like.
Right.
You know,
right.
you better like this person. We gave them an award. Well, maybe they don't like them. Maybe, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying, maybe the people, their opinion is more important than who the people at the top tell you who to like. That's what I found out. And that's what's working for us. The people have spoken.
Well, Eliza Neals, it has been a pleasure to have you on Time Signatures today. I'm absolutely looking forward to a local opportunity to come out and see you play. And I promise you, I will buy some of your merchandise today.
Oh my God, I'm holding you to that, Irv. No,
and I will come and listen, I'm going to keep my word. And if I can get a signed CD,
hell yeah.
What I do is I frame my CDs. This is John Lee Hooker.
Okay.
I got Carlos Santana. I got Mick Fleetwood. So I'd love to put you on the wall. But I promise you, I promise you that we will come and see you when you get to Michigan. How's that sound?
I can't wait. And we're going to have a great time. So get ready. Get ready.
Sounds
it's like
good.
a revival. It's a revival. It's like people cry. I don't even know what I'm doing. The music takes over. But whatever it is, you will have a good time. I promise.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. And that brings this episode of Time Signatures to a close. Once again, my thanks to Eliza Neals for her time, but also to you for your time, because without you, none of this would be possible. Jim Ervin reminding you, keeping the blues alive is everyone's responsibility, but preserving the history of the blues one story at a time is my mission. Until next time, so long.
Bye.
This has been Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. For more information on cabs, visit capitalareablues.org. You can find this episode and past episodes at lccconnect.org. The Time Signatures theme song, Michigan Roads, is used by permission and was written by Root Doctor, featuring Freddie Cunningham.
You know I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
Until next time, keep on keeping the blues alive.
Baby, I'm